I'm going to share with you a conversation that I had with a combination of email and Skype with a mother who had been practicing real love for about 6 months with her teenage daughter, Rona. During that time, Rona's previously snotty attitude had improved, actually quite a lot, considering that previously she had learned to get away with tirades, foul language, and outright defiance. So I guess anything would be an improvement from that, but she was learning. And she was more responsible around the house, the daughter. But problems still occurred. Understandable. Nothing huge, but they occurred regularly. So mom had a meeting for 5 to 10 minutes every day just with Rona, even though there were other children in the family and there was a daily family meeting for everybody. Rona needed special attention. She's a teenager. She's getting ready to leave the house. Sometimes a kid needs more attention. This is real dedication on the part of the mother and awareness, and something you might consider with your children or particular child. So mom told me about a conversation she had just had with Rona, who at the time was a couple of months into her last year of high school. So this is a scary time because she's about to go away to college, not far away. And once they move out of the house, your teaching's pretty much over on the whole. Mom said, Rona was rude to her sister an hour before our usual meeting, the meeting that they had 5 to 10 minutes a day. So I waited to make that rude interaction. I didn't say anything about it at the time. I waited to make that the subject of our meeting. That was a smart choice. We always have to address unloving behavior from our children, between our children. We have to address unloving behavior. But sometimes we can wait until we have their full attention, like at a meeting, as opposed to addressing it while we're all running out the door like crazy people to be on time to something. Smart choice. Mom continues. Rona had been rude, moody, mopey since coming back from a trip to the university that she was planning to attend on a softball scholarship. After she admitted her attitude toward her sister and described how she would handle it differently, notice, mom kept going till she did both, till Rona admitted her mistake and then how she would handle it differently. And then mom says, she sat on my lap and cried. She said that all the girls on the softball team were really nice. And there was great food and music, and it was a really great experience. But despite all that, she started feeling lonely, insecure, and not good enough. That's the lifetime effect of a child not being given love early enough when they're just infants. Mom continues, says, and she said that she was crying about that she still felt that way. It hurts, she says, to see the difference between me and my generally snotty and selfish attitude and the girls on the softball team who seem to be genuinely nice to each other. I'm worried that I'm not going to fit in. Now, me addressing everybody, not just mom. When Rona, the daughter, lashes out at people, when she's unloving, she consistently feels alone, insecure, and not good enough. That's what happens when people live outside the flow of love that we've talked about that fills the universe. If you live outside the light, shouldn't be a surprise, it feels dark. If you live away from the heat, it feels cold. You sit far enough from the fire, you feel cold. And that's what Rona was describing. Unloving feels bad. It feels like we're living outside the light and the warmth. And it's a cycle. Rona feels bad about herself. Then she acts out. She acts badly. Then she feels worse about herself. And you can see the cycle. I don't need to keep repeating it. She needs to see that. Her mom needs to help her see that even more consistently. And that's what she's doing with the meetings. And she needs to see that she expects circumstances and people to break this cycle. instead of her learning to choose differently. She's controlled by her environment. And you just as well be a rock or a tree if you're going to be controlled by your environment. We've talked about this before in the parenting training. We say to our kids, do you want to be a rock that simply reacts? Or do you want to be a human? If she chooses, Rona, to be kind, like she was not with her sister, her life will go so much better. That's the reason to be kind. Not because somebody tells you you're supposed to, but because it's who she really is, and she'll be happier. She saw this with the girls at the university who were nice to each other and enjoyed being in each other's company. And she got to see what that was like. Her mother had been telling her that being kind is happier, but then she got to see it and realized, yikes, I'm in trouble. And yes, she's reacting to a lifetime of pain that was not her fault. Her mom caused that, But, well, tough, because somebody has to change this pattern. And mom can't change Rona's attitude for her. She can't do her emotional work. Rona has to grow up and make happier choices, which mom is helping her to do, but can't make her do. Or Rona's going to go to college and she's going to end up, as every team has one, that isolated and grumpy member of the team who then misses practices more and more and loses her scholarship and ends up being kicked off the team or dropping out of school. It's almost predictable. If Rona keeps up this attitude, and she needs to hear it like this, you keep acting like this toward your sister with the snotty attitude, you're going to end up dropping out of school and wanting to come back home, and I've already given you my best shot at teaching you. The time to learn this is now. Mom needs to help break that cycle now while Rona is at home and can be helped. This is why the teen ages are particularly dangerous. They're getting ready to go out into the world, and they're going to think they actually know something, and they're going to poison their own well. Mom continued with me. She was trying to understand why she gets that way, why she gets that snotty attitude like with her sister. I asked her if she knows the fundamental reason why she is this way. And she knows, because I've taught her about how she wasn't loved as a child and she feels less than worthwhile. I told her that I'm going to teach her something very important and new. It does not really matter what exactly triggered you anymore. It doesn't matter with your sister. It doesn't matter with the girls on the team. It doesn't matter. Rona's eyes, she said her brow went up. It doesn't matter why you got triggered. What matters is what you do next. You can complain and you can blame everybody else in your life for how you feel, and in the end, nobody's going to care. What matters is what you choose. Like the example of the starving person was an example that I'd used with mom. It doesn't matter to analyze with somebody who's starving to death what nutrients they didn't get. Oh, well, let's go through the Krebs citric acid cycle with somebody who's starving to death. No, you just begin eating nutritious foods so you don't die of starvation. So I asked her, this is mom now, back to talking to the daughter, what is the food you need? And she said, getting loved. And I said, yes, getting loved and getting taught. And you haven't gotten any of that in the last 3 days because you've been resistant. You haven't been coming to talk to me, to ask me about questions and asking me how to deal with your sister, and instead making your own snotty choices with your sister. You've been trying to do it on your own. And look where it got you. It got you miserable. So we're going to go back to having daily meetings again. Mom had been allowing the meetings to slide because she was waiting to see if Rona would schedule the meetings on her own. And she didn't, and it got her to a place where she was sitting on her mom's lap and crying. Without that preparation of love and guidance, she won't believe, Rona won't. This is me talking to mom and all of you, how badly she'll feel if she goes to school and fails. Then the cycle really gets cemented. And you, mom, won't be able to rescue her. So now's the time. These daily meetings are like chemotherapy to get rid of a cancer, not exaggerating. Mom said we proceeded with the meeting. She seemed better, but her attitude wasn't completely gone. She took notes, and some annoyance came out again on her part, all over her face. You know how kids just kind of ooze that, I'm listening to you, but are you done? It was that attitude. I had some chocolate in the office there where I was talking to her, and I shared some with her just for no reason. She finished it off, and then she said to me, so do you really think it's a good idea to have, chocolate up here where you can eat it all of the time? This is a kid who's unhappy with her sister, unhappy at home, was unhappy at her university visit, and she's going to lecture her mom. And she said it in the tone of a teacher or a boss. It was not kind. It was correcting and judging. This is mom still speaking. I told her so, and she denied it. Now, me speaking, it seems small when a kid is snotty for a moment. It's not small. It's not small in the case of Rona. It's not small that you pointed out, because she will do this with her teammates at school. We do what we practice. Why do you think she goes to volleyball practice all the time in high school? Is so that she can get better and better and use those skills that she's learned in the game, and she's going to take her life skills with her to the university. So if she behaves like this at home, she's going to behave like this at school. She's going to pick at little things that they do, just like she does with you and her sister, unless she consistently admits it now and stops it. And the price gets higher and higher. It's easier to stop now. Mom said she took offense, and she said that I was saying these things because I was personally offended. And she said, I didn't have and so my daughter, this is mom talking to me. So Rona said, well, okay, well, I didn't have attitude earlier, but okay, you want attitude? I've seen these live. So she cursed and screamed, and she was aggressive and threatening, the daughter, toward her mother, who had openly declared she was there trying to help her. Yeah, she's kind of not getting the point, is she? And she's not hurting you, but you got to tell her. She's preparing herself to fall flat on her face, lose her scholarship, and sit in a puddle of self-pity at college. And then once it happens, she's going to go, who did this to me? That's what she's going to do, because she's not taking responsibility for her behavior now. Mom continues talking to me, quote, I just got the image that I cannot budge or back away. So I moved toward her, and she said, don't touch me. You heard kids do this. And she told me to shut up and to stop talking. And I touched her lightly, exactly like she told me not to do. I kept talking and telling her to listen closely. After she had yelled at me really loudly, I mean, screaming at the top of her lungs in frustration, and she told me to back off, and I didn't, and I was kind, she started to listen. Okay, you parents, this is Medal of Honor winning time right here. It's when your kid's being the most snotty, the most resistant, the most difficult, and you stay calm and loving. That's when you get to see some changes, sometimes. But she did. She eventually listened. And Mom said, quote, I said, this outburst pretty much proves that all along you have been having attitude, just like I said. And with your sister, it was just disguised. And now it's coming out, at least honestly. Not very cleanly, but honestly. Mom, good for you. It's outstanding that you helped her see her at her earlier attitude and her present attitude. She walks around with an attitude almost all the time. You tend to give her the benefit of the doubt, but this kid has an attitude almost all day long. I've spoken to her twice, and she had an attitude throughout the entire conversation. And I told her, I got nothing to sell you, kid. I got nothing to tell you, and I'm not going to make you do anything. She still had an attitude. Now is the time to learn to drop it, because in a matter of months, she'll be with people who won't put up with her attitude at all. They'll drop her, and she'll wonder why she has no friends, feels alone, and wants to be dead. I can't say this loudly enough. What she's doing now will not work when she leaves home. She thinks leaving home will change things. Everybody does. I'll be happier when I have a new car, when I leave home, when I go to school, when I graduate. No, it doesn't. It never does. I'll be happy when I go to college. I'll be happy when I'm rich. And yet I see rich people or talk to rich people almost every day who are still trying to build a house on St. Bart's because that'll make them happy. And I'll be darned, it doesn't. And 3 weeks into building the house on St. Bart's, that particular man's son killed himself because we keep looking for something external to make us happy. I'll be happy when, no, you'll be happy when you choose to be. You'll be happy when you choose to be responsible and loving. Mom said to Rona, I'm not offended. I don't care one bit what you think of me or say to me. This is for you. All of it, everything I'm saying and doing. If you don't see yourself in your attitude and then you move out, I doubt you will ever again find someone else who will teach you like this. And that's a fact. It's highly unlikely. Everybody runs away from people who have attitudes like this, or fight back, or fire her, or cancel her scholarship, or whatever. Mom said to Rona, quote, life will teach you and beat you up in the process because life isn't merciful. It makes no difference to my life whether you learn this or not. If you end up poor or rich, happy or unhappy, I will be sad if you don't learn, but it won't change my life. You'll be miserable, but you won't be living in my house. I won't rescue you if this goes badly when you leave here. So this won't affect me, but wow, will it affect you? You've got to get this. And to everybody, this is perfect. This is it. This is what a kid has to be taught. Mom continued with me, saying she calmed down. The storm passed. She asked me if I was upset with her, which I wasn't. I was just loving and teaching her. We started to deal with practical things, and this time her attitude, finally, after all those attempts, was really gone. Well, yeah, because you loved her and you taught her while you were under fire. That is being a good parent. Being kind to our children when they're asleep or cleaning up the kitchen, that's no great trick. It's while we're under fire that it matters. Congratulations. It took a lot of practice on your part, just like it's taking on her part, but you did it. And to everybody, this interaction would have gone straight into the ditch in the past, both for the daughter and the mother. But Mom dug into loving and teaching as soon as she could learn how. And she didn't give up. This particular interaction went great, ended up great. Actually, the whole thing went great because it takes hard times to learn hard things. Something we'd all give anything to have an experience like this. But what most of us do not see is that Mom prepared, and I told you this at the beginning of this particular answer, Mom prepared for 6 months learning to love and teach for this moment with her daughter. Without that 6 months of preparation, it would simply have been another tantrum, another attitude, another I don't love you, and a guarantee of more, and almost a guarantee of a life of misery. But Mom kept going. And as parents, we must begin preparing now and never stop preparing to be better at loving and teaching. It's our job. It's our pleasure. It's our privilege.